Hey guys, it's JD. I'm in LA today running quite a few errands, so excuse my haggard look, my no makeup. I'm sweaty. It is hot. I have my Fanta. I don't drink a lot of soda, but I had to have a Fanta today. I just wanted to come on and do a video to, answer the question some of you might have of why should I schedule a coaching one-on-one with you? This is a very uncertain time we live in right now, and especially in the trade industry right now, things are somewhat haggard, and it's a toss-up every day. Things change every day. And you have a lot of logistics companies. Well, I won't say a lot. Let me correct that. You have some logistics companies that are scaling down because of the uncertainty in the trade industry and, economically. So what they're doing is some of them, they're looking at their staff. What staff knows what they're doing? What staff do not know what they're doing? And with the onset of AI, some companies are looking at their crew, rightfully so, and they're saying, will this person be able to catch on with AI? Will this person, be able to incorporate it into the brokerage, department like we need them to? And so some companies are revamping and they're getting more sophisticated with AI. But my thing is, as they add AI to, say, the brokerage entity, the traffic department, the billing department, the documentation department, all of these different departments that have to do with the supply chain. If you don't understand the flow or the framework, the skeleton of what transportation and trade and import brokerage, export, all of that, manifests, transit times, etc. If you don't understand the basics of that, you're going to have a hard time incorporating AI into that. And what I do, I always find myself, talking to people, friends from long past, other colleagues that may be looking for jobs, and they ask me, well, Jerry, do you think I can do that? And I say to them, well, what do you do on the job that you're doing now? And in talking with them, I'm upfront, I'm honest. Well, if you don't understand that, I wouldn't suggest you go, a step up. I know you're trying to make more money, but you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run because they're going to see that you don't know that process and they're not going to play with you long. Some people I have heard in the past say, well, just fake it till you make it. Not this time, not with the onset of AI. You can't just, fake it till you make it, because AI can do it better than you can in some instances. But just like that is a computer system or a, technological system. I might not be using the right word for that, so excuse me. There's got to be somebody to give it input, for it to give you output. So in talking with me and scheduling time with me, all I want to do is make sure that you are understanding the process of what import and what trade is and what, parts each one plays. Because as a new person coming into entry writing or coming into the traffic department or coming into a company and they stick you in the ocean traffic department, you don't have a clue as to why you're doing what you do. And those that have been coached by me, have sat in my, customs broker classes, they'll tell you that's my motto. Know why you do what you do. Some people say, just do it and then ask later. Well, sometimes you do it, it gets the company in trouble, and then they come to you later because you didn't get a chance to ask. So I want to be that person that you sit with outside of work that gets you the knowledge that you need to have, the understanding. Now, some may not be Christians on here. I am. And it says in the Bible, with all thy getting, get an understanding. Those that know that scripture, that saying. It's imperative that you understand what you do. Because I understand or understood at some point in my career why I did what I did, it made it better for me. There were times when I wanted someone to take the time with me to say, if you mess this up over here, like a domino effect, it's going to cause something to happen over here. And for a long time in my career, no one would do that with me until I bumped into a woman. I don't even know if she's still around now. Her name is Faye Marlowe. And although she was harsh in my perspective, harsh on me, showing me and teaching me things, it was priceless. And when people would ask me, when I went to other companies, Jerri, how did you know how to do that? I would laugh to myself in my head like, oh my God, she was teaching me the framework. And like she always told me or taught me, if you understand the framework, if you understand the nuts and bolts of what you do, you can go anywhere. And she was right about that. Although I'm telling you, the training I got, it was rough. It was really rough. But when I went to other places that were doing things simply because the computer could do it for you, when they would hit a snag that they couldn't figure out, I would take them all the way back to zero and go, okay, well, let's start at the beginning. What happened here? How did this happen? Who gave this instruction? Where did this come from? How did you come to this classification? What about this product told you it was this? Where did you go to get information? It was questions like that that would end up helping whatever the situation was. It would help get the knot out. And then I would just hand it over to whoever, was in charge of it, or, whatever management. And they would always say, how did so-and-so figure that out? Not talking about me, talking about the management. How did they figure that out? Wow, that's some great management. Well, they had a little person over here, me, doing the grunt work, because I knew where to go, where to look, per se, and what questions to ask in my head, not necessarily out loud, because if you ask the real question out loud, a lot of times it got you in trouble, because they're like, you're supposed to know that. You're supposed to know that. You can't ask customs that. And so when you wouldn't ask the question, when customs comes knocking at the door and they say, well, you didn't do your due diligence. Did you call customs and ask customs? I would just give them the side eye, like, because I was told not to ask. Well, I don't say that anymore. Now it is my motto. If you don't know, ask. I would rather you ask the question and come into the knowledge of something than to walk around blindly and cause, catastrophes all over the place. That a company, it's going to take them big amounts of money to fix. So why come to me? Why be coached by me? Because I'm going to take you by the hand and bring you into the knowledge of knowing why you do what you do, and knowing why everything that you touch within the supply chain, whether it be export or whether it be import, whether you be in compliance or whether you be in finance, billing, whether you're in the transportation part of it, picking it up at the pier, loading it onto the vessel, loading it onto the plane, or picking it up from the port and delivering it to the customer. Everybody along the way is connected. So I just want to be able to coach whoever may have that question in their mind of, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I doing this? Why did I get in trouble because I put a pallet count instead of a carton count? It can be that simple. That simple thing can cause catastrophe for a shipment. Now, I have a funny story, and I'm going to try to start incorporating, they're not funny, haha, but in my career, in my experience, I have had some of the oddest situations. And this one is the funny in my life. This one is the funniest one to me. I used to do what is called hand carries. And what a hand carry is you meet the importer at the airport. They're carrying their good, their import. It's completely digital now. You don't, unless I'm confused, you don't meet the person at the airport anymore. Your documentation is done, put in the system, and custom pulls it up when that person gets to the airport. If I'm wrong about that, somebody put it down in the comments and say, "Hey, Jerry, you whistling Dixie." But I had the person's documentation, their entry in my hand, and there was a section where only, the brokers could go. And you're standing there with your company name on your folder, and you've got that person's formal entry waiting for them. And my person came off the plane. They came with, their goods. I had their entry, but they had to go through, a few other areas per se before they got to that customs counter person. And there was this one, actually two, inspectors that were overseers of the floor or whatnot. And one of them, this big, tall, burly guy, he was very intimidating to look at. He looked like he could be a wrestler for the WWE. Bald head, he's got his guns on his hip, on each side, and he's walking back and forth, making sure the customs inspectors are doing what they're doing, making sure the brokers are all in their section. And I'm just sitting there, and I made the mistake of stepping my foot out of the area. There was like a cordoned off area with some black, tape, the kind they use in the banks to keep the line in formation. And I'm not paying attention, I'm just standing around. There was, all the seats were taken, and I'm just pacing back and forth slowly and just whistling, minding my own business. And I step out of the little, line where everybody was supposed to be behind. And I hear this yell, "Hey, broker!" And I'm looking around like, woo, somebody is in trouble. Get back behind the line. And I'm looking around like, oh, I wish that person would get back behind the line. They are in some serious trouble. Come on now. And this man goes to parade rest. Anybody that's been in a band or drill team or in the military, you know what parade rest is. And he puts his hand where his gun is, and he hits his little holder and releases the button so that he could pull out the gun. And I'm looking around like, oh my God, this is getting serious. And I look at another person from another brokerage that I knew, and I went, who in the world is this man talking to? He goes, "I'm talking to you." Me? He was like, "Yeah, get over here." I looked at all the little brokers sitting there, because a lot of us knew each other. And they have this weirdest look on their face like, he can't be talking to you. Not you. I go over there and I am shaking in my shoes like, what did I do? He, read me the riot act. Who do you think you are? And blah, blah, blah. And I just looked at him, "Sir, I am so sorry. I don't even know what I did." He said, do you not know that line is there for your safety, for the safety of others? Blah. He gave me the whole spiel. When I got done with my customer, my client, and got back to the office, by that time, the fear had overwhelmed me and I just was in full on tears. And my boss, the same lady I'm telling you, who taught me what I know, she asked me what happened. She gets up, and my other coworker, she brings me tissue, and they're asking me what happened. And I am literally shaking, and I can't get it out. The customs officer said, and and I'm hiccuping all of that. And because I worked for a woman who had been in the industry many years, over 30 years by the time I got to her, she knew a lot of high up customs people. So she calls the port director and she tells him, listen, one of your people has completely harassed one of my people. She knew the guy's name just by my description of him, and within, I'm going to say, minutes, that actual customs officer called me personally to apologize. I was floored. When I got home, I was so exhausted from all the mental gymnastics I had went through during the day. I didn't even, try to call any of my family members like I would usually do and just chew the fat. I got home, took off my clothes, and got into bed and just slept. Years later, here's the funny part. Years later, I took a photography class at Santa Monica College in Santa Monica, California. And I'm talking to one of the classmates of mine, because this was like our second semester taking together, that class. And somebody walks in and another person goes, oh, there's the person, it was a joke, there's the person who gets all of the teacher's accolades, there's the teacher's pet. And I turn around and it is the same customs officer that harassed me years before. We ended up taking a photography class together at Santa Monica College, and we became just buddies. He took the most beautiful pictures. He was a good landscape photographer, in his personal life. And just to look at him, you would never know that man had that much artistic talent. But we laughed so hard as we reminisced about how we actually knew each other. And I left Santa Monica. I'm not sure, if he continued on. I don't even know why he was taking that class, because the teacher absolutely loved every picture he took. So I say that to say, your experiences in the industry can be multiple. You can run into all kinds of scenarios, all kinds. But if you still don't get it, if you still don't know what you're doing, it can become laborious to you. It can become boring. It can become so overwhelming to you. So all I'm saying to you is give me a chance to coach you. Give me a chance to open up your potential in the logistics industry, whether that be export, whether that be import. Spend 30 minutes with me and I'll talk to you. I'll walk you through whatever problems you may be having that you just don't get it. Why are you still having a problem with that? Well, let me talk to you about it. Let me work it out with you so that you can see, you can get the knot out, and you can become more successful in your career, in your job. Don't give up. Don't give up, because you can do it. If there's somebody at work telling you, you so dumb, you'll never figure this out and you'll never go any higher, they told me that too. I was actually told not to take the broker's exam for the third time. And because I am who I am, and I know my worth and how much ambition I have, I took that exam for the third time, and that is when I passed it. That person was so flabbergasted because they had just, wrote me out and said, no, she'll never do it. They told me I'd never be able to open up my own brokerage because I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have any money, actually. But there I was. The brokerage had been shut down. Customs had called, said, everything, we want for this brokerage is over. Meaning they, were shutting the brokerage down. The customers were all like, well, okay, so where do we go? I spent weeks being the one to close down that office when I was the one they wanted to let go first. Once they knew that the office was going to be closed down, I was going to be the first one on the chopping block because of my salary. And this is how God works. They were getting rid of me, and I ended up being the one to close them down successfully and legally. And after that, I had like 30 days because one customer said, I'm not going to import another shipment until you open your own brokerage. And in my head, I was like, there is no way I can do that. There is. For those of you who feel that way, let me tell you, there is a way for you to do it. I have helped 3 people now open their own brokerages. And I did it pro bono. I'm not doing that anymore. Because the knowledge that I impart to them that allows them to open up their own brokerage, it didn't come free to me, and it shouldn't come free, to someone I help. It's just not fair to me. So again, give me a chance. Spend some time coaching with me. I'm going to open some more days really soon. And let me help you. Let me help you. If you have a pain point, let me help you. If you are constantly getting your shipments hung up in customs or hung up at the port, at the pier, let me look at what your situation is and help you out and figure it out. A lot of times it's just as simple as you're not a part of CTPAT. And some people feel like CTPAT is, just a waste of time. I don't need it. It's not really helping me security wise. It's, voluntary. I don't need it. Well, when you're not a part of CTPAT, you just slow down all of your shipments. And any exams that you might have, you just put yourself at the back of the line. So it's knowledge like that that I have, that I want to impart to you, that I want to help you with. So even though this is a very impromptu, very casual video, this is a very serious video because AI is here to stay. A lot of logistics companies have already got it on board and are implementing it in many areas within their supply chain. So let me help you understand the basics of the whole import process, the trade process, why A needs B and B needs C, and be the better person for it. So I look forward to hearing from you. I'm going to put my email address in the description box. I'm going to also put my site information in the description box. And let's get together. Let's spend some time this week. If not this week, well, there's a holiday coming up, so no, not next week, but the following week. Let's get it together. Let's get it done. And again, if you're an importer out there and you're having problems, give me a shout. If you are a newbie importer or a newbie entry writer, give me a shout. Let me help you out. Everybody have a wonderful and safe holiday weekend, and I will talk to you soon. And when I have some classes ready, or I call them classes, but they're not really classes. It's kind of like on you to take it or to do it for people looking to take the broker's exam in October, because April's already done and gone. I'll let you know when those are ready. They will be up on my site, and I'll give you that information in my next video. Again, have a wonderful weekend. Take care. Be safe out there. And I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.